Hey everybody, welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. This is your host, Anthony James. I am with Kylie Patton, excuse me, Chris Sear with the Wylie area youth sports. Welcome y'all. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yep, doing good.
Listen, I am a proud parent of a lot of the Wylie ISD. As far as like my older two kids, my younger two kids, we're out in community ISD right now, but it happens. but playing in Wylie youth sports, as far as like my oldest played basketball and football out there. He's 21 now, so it feels like it was forever ago. So, what is the love of youth sports, especially in Wylie? Where did that come from? That's just a question for both of you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, it's pretty simple. I've got four little humans, and my oldest, when he was about 8 months old, decided that he was going to start working on his basketball skills. And it's a little early, but we decided at 2 we were going to get him involved in something, and just trying to find sports that were in our area at the time was a mess. And then we moved to Wylie and we found this league, and it just kind of felt like a family.
Mm-hmm.
And so it went from just wanting to be a parent to our very next season. I ended up volunteering because they needed help, and it turned into I walked out of a meeting as director of cheer, and it just kind of evolved from there. So for me, it was definitely started out just being a parent, but then actually seeing what my kids were getting out of it, and it's really developed into just seeing what the community does when we are able to come together, create that environment where the kids are surrounded by like strong, positive role models. And that's something that a lot of kids are lacking. And so this is definitely a labor of love for me now.
All right. And Chris, like I said, same question.
Same question. So, when I was young, actually, sports played a pretty significant part for myself. I played football as a kid, single mom, only child, and it was kind of what kept me out of trouble for a while. And then, as my daughter got the children involved in sports here in Texas, I got interested again. I spent 25 years in the military, so you're kind of pulled away from any of that kind of stuff. You don't have time for it. And so getting back involved with it with the kids, seeing the changes in the lives, watching how many kids in struggling homes got something new out of what we were doing, watching them grow, become more mature, start to develop leadership. And so that kind of got me between that and my daughter, it started getting me more involved in what we do. And that's exactly how I ended up here with the league, is because of that.
Yeah, my story is similar to Callie's, where I went in like, you know what, maybe I'll just be an assistant coach, and I ended up being a head coach with the flex football for a couple of years, and with tackle football, like I said, 10 years ago. So yeah, it was same deal where you go in like, I'll help out, and then you end up being the person. So
Yep.
Which I'm fine with, because again, I believe in our kids learning the right way. And, I think a lot of the volunteers that come with it, they believe in that same thing as well. So when it comes to this, because again, Texas, you say Texas is 2 seasons. It's summer and football season. Only 2 seasons that exist here. But how do we prevent? Because I guess I'll ask this question first. So, what are the sports or activities that are with the Wylie area Wylie area youth sports league?
Yeah, so that's a great question. In the spring, we have flex football,
Mhm.
which you mentioned. And then come fall, we have flag football, tackle football, cheer. We just launched drill team, so we have drill team coming along this fall. In the winter, we have basketball. And then actually, spring of 27, we are launching volleyball as well.
Okay. So, a question for you, I'll ask you this, Chris, since Callie just answered this. So how do you prevent just that one sport? Because again, you think leagues now, it's always football. It's always going to be the one that people think about. But how do you prevent that one sport from becoming the whole organization's agenda?
Well, for us, it's kind of interesting that um, the kids and the parents both are asking for more than one sport. It's really evolved. As important as football is, we have a lot of kids that play football and turn right around and play basketball, and then turn right around and play flex in the springtime. So a lot of the kids like the different sport aspects, especially because it helps them to stay in shape better. The conditioning is just huge, and by offering different things at different times, it's given the kids the ability to actually stay in better physical condition. Plus, they're around the coaches more, even though they change up for every season. They're getting around the coaches, and our coaches are pouring very similar things into them about leadership. So it's been really easy for us actually not to get focused on one sport, because we have enough, and there's enough requests from the community to say, hey, we want this. And so our goal as a league is to be able to put that together for them.
Okay. So obviously, like I say, and you talked about parents and the wants, and hey, we want this type of deal. We want this sport, or we want these things. And obviously, you're trying to we're trying to appease the parents and things like that when it comes to that. So, for the different programs, Callie. So, what does success of this mean to you? Is it just the sheer volume of people that signing up, or things like that? What does success for this program mean for you?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. So for me, the success of the program is the experience of everybody involved, right? So I don't care if we have 5 girls or 500 girls. What did they take from it at the end of the season? Because these, it may be a one time experience for somebody, but it may also be a lifetime of love that they learn. And so this is something that I don't care, how much money we make. And honestly, sometimes our programs lose a lot of money. But at the end of the day, what are these kids going to get from it? What dreams and goals is this going to change for them? And even if it's not someone wanting to, go to the NFL or be a professional cheerleader, what are some life lessons that they got out of it? Maybe these are experiences that they would never have the opportunity to do otherwise. And so for me, that's how we measure our success is what kind of feedback are we getting from the kids? What kind of feedback are we getting from the parents? What kind of feedback are we getting from the community? And what does that look like? Right? Do we see, the communities out there saying, Waze is a terrible league and we never want to, do business with them? Or are we seeing, new people moving to the area and asking, does anyone have any suggestions? And we have parents that we may have only interacted with 1 or 2 times, and they're saying, hey, this is a really great league to put your kids in.
And so Chris, obviously, with ways, it's volunteer driven. Okay, we'll go ahead and call that it is volunteer. Now, the what I've seen in organizations before is volunteer burnout, because what happens a lot of times is we're dependent on the same people for not just football, but each season. When it comes to this, and they get to the point of I just don't have the time, or I don't have this. So, for you all, like I, what are some of the hardest roles to kind of fill right now when it comes to volunteering and and in a volunteer driven league?
Well, for us so far, the biggest struggle coming into this year was just standing up a new board and people understanding what they're supposed to do. Because it's very difficult, like you said, as a volunteer league. Um, what's your job? What do you do? How does it work together to make it easier? So by us having a board that works together at our level, it's made everything a whole lot easier as far as the work aspect's concerned. Pushing down into the leagues themselves, making sure we have enough coaches or enough, commissioners to take the workload off of one individual. It really is important, and that's where our reach out is, to reach out to the community, to bring people in, to get them on board with donating a little bit of time. Because if we have a lot of people donating a little bit of time, the job's done and nobody's overwhelmed.
And also, okay, so and that definitely does help. But obviously, being in youth sports, and I've seen it from coaching and everyone feeling like this is the NFL for their kid at this time. And so, how do you handle tension between hey, this is a nonprofit. These coaches are volunteering their time. They're helping the best that they can with the knowledge they have. And the parents who are, I'm paying my money and I expect winning. How do you handle that tension that comes with that?
Well, one of the big things on that one is we make sure on the front side that first and foremost they understand this is a recreational league, and that they're not spending um, what is it, select level money. So if they want select, there's a lot of leagues out there. All they got to do is dip in about 5 to 10,000, and they're good to go. And I know that seems harsh, but that's the truth of it. So understanding in the rec side, what is our goal? Our goal is to teach the kids the basic fundamentals so they can have fun, not get hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to move on down the road, especially as we align with the schools. Now that we're in more agreement with the schools, we're starting to see what they want as the kids move into junior high school. And so that's what we're focusing on now. And so we become slowly, but we're becoming a feeder for the school systems.
Yeah, I think that was a very good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was going to say, if I could just add on to that, I think one thing that has definitely helped too is just that communication aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I think some leagues get so wrapped up in what they're trying to accomplish that they forget what it's like to be a new parent, and not have this experience. And so, one thing that our VP of operations and I, we try really hard to remember, even when we're really frustrated at situations, when tensions may be really high, is how would we feel as a new parent in the league and we don't know what's happening? Why are we frustrated? And so just keeping that in mind and being open to hearing parent feedback, because they may have, a point of view that we don't know about. And so if we're open to listening to that, I may not be able to make every change everyone asks for because, we can't make everyone happy, but being open to that feedback so that we can grow this together as a community is really what it's about.
Yeah, believe me, those few years of coaching. Yeah, ma'am, I got it. Especially when you're just trying. I'm trying to teach your child how to not get hurt, but still play hard. And
Yes.
and those are the things where obviously with volunteers and things like that, especially having people. Again, football has been in the blood. What I've done, and things like that. So ensuring that you have the right people who are volunteering as well. Because not just volunteering, but the right people in place when it comes to that as well.
Yes.
So obviously, again, back to the same question, because again, you still a youth sports league. What's just still what that is. So, what is this leadership though? What this youth sports league taught you about adults, not the kids?
I think the biggest thing for me is everyone just wants to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the parents, you're going to have some parents who are coming into this that have experience with sports. You're going to have some parents coming into this that have absolutely no experience with sports. You're going to have parents who didn't have good role models growing up. You're going to have parents that had great role models growing up. And being able to take everybody's different situations and finding a common ground. And that common ground is sports, right? That common ground is, you know what? I may have never met you before a day in my life, but this season we're a family. And what happens to your kid, that's my kid too. So I think really, even when people are at their most frustrated, they're most upset, and you just really, it takes everything in you to want to like this person. I think just understanding that we do have a goal together, and that goal is, creating an environment where our kids are being set up for success, right? Because we have I'm trying to figure out how to word this appropriately. There are a lot of issues with society today, right?
Sometimes it's inappropriate how we have to sometimes word
Yes,
things.
yes, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of issues with society today,
Mhm.
right? And for me personally, as a mom, I just want to be able to send my kids out into the world so that they can be productive members of society instead of part of the problem.
Yeah, and
And
especially
I think that's what a lot of parents want.
and especially when you deal with I'll say this as everyone doesn't look the same. Everyone doesn't sound the same. Everyone doesn't teach the same, don't learn the same. And when I moved out to Wylie in 2015, and it looks a lot different now than it did when I first moved out here. And you can see it in the schools. You can see it in everything that goes around in the neighborhoods. And I'm happy that it looks that way now, though,
Yes.
because you have a lot of people who needed that kind of that wake up call of others around them. And it starts with sports a lot of times. Sports, it brings those different people together to not be so judgmental of others. So I think that was just politically correct, if I can say that.
There's really a politically correct way to say that, but I agree 1,000%. Our
Right.
community should look like the world.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be split up. So I love our little pool of athletes.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all so crisp. So obviously, again, we're still in Texas. Football's always going to be king. We're not going to sugarcoat that. All right, but to me, obviously, I do a coach's show with Coach Gold at Wylie East as well. And so to me, it looks like from the outside looking in, like you're kind of like we're building a ladder with flag and flex and tackle. Does that sound, is it deliberate that it looks that way or feels that
Yes.
way, or is it happening organically?
Well, it somewhat happened organically, but it is the intent.
Mhm.
I know as we've gone through to recreate the image and show people that this is what we're here for. It is specifically now to create that ladder for the kids that really do want to move on into school and on up. Absolutely have that ladder to climb, and they can climb it. There's something here now. It's not just a great chasm between, oh, I got to play a little football here when I was 4 years old, and now I'm in junior high school, and wow, that's a big kid. We needed something in between that. And our goal is exactly that, to put the kids into that position so they can learn the basic fundamentals, which will actually help keep them safe in a high contact sport.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Shane with Restore Hyper Wellness right here in Murphy, Texas. I'm proud to say we're partners with Grindhouse Sports Training just next door in Wylie. Now, Coach Washington over at Grindhouse Sports Training has done a phenomenal job at not just building out a business in the community, being a pillar in the community, but also being an inspiration to the young, talented kids that he trains each and every day. Now, last year, Coach Washington started a podcast, a Grindhouse podcast. The links are below. I encourage each and every one of you to go check this out, listen to it, like it, enjoy it. Coach Washington will walk you through his personal experiences, what motivates him, what made him what he is today, and why he's so effective at being a phenomenal leader to these young, talented individuals. Check out the podcast. We'll see you soon.
I grew up in a small town just north of DFW. We didn't have much money, but we did have plenty of freedom. My childhood was all about long bike rides, fishing trips with my dad, and endless adventures outdoors. Those days taught me independence, resourcefulness, and a real appreciation for life's simple pleasures. My passion for mechanics started early thanks to my dad. There's this old photo of me as a toddler in diapers right under the hood of a car with him. He would hand me an old lawnmower and say, "Take it apart." And once I got it all apart, he would say, "Now put it back together." It was never actually about fixing the mower. It was his way of teaching me patience, persistence, and problem solving. Those lessons stuck with me and shaped who I am today. My first real experience with golf carts happened when my dad started working at Heritage Ranch. One of my first times working on a cart, I vividly remember a job for Frank that went sideways and I made a big mess. Instead of getting upset, Frank just jumped in to help clean up. And that moment sparked a friendship that has lasted for 20 years. It showed me that golf carts are more than just vehicles. They're opportunities to connect and build lasting relationships. Moments like that are one of the reasons I started this business. I wanted to create a workplace where employees could genuinely be themselves, where integrity and honesty and a genuine care were at the heart of everything. Today, TrueRide isn't just about repairing or selling golf carts. It's about slowing down, genuinely connecting with customers, and creating meaningful relationships. It's about having the freedom to live our values instead of them just being a list on a wall somewhere. It's about making honest choices that put people before profits. And most importantly, it's the opportunity to build something with our families and have a real impact in our homes and in our communities. TrueRide is more than just a business, it's a mission. We're committed to mentoring youth, supporting families, and building a community rooted in honesty and compassion. At True Ride Golf Carts, we believe it's not just about transportation, it's about transformation. I'm Matt Flynn, and this is True Ride Golf Carts, built on honesty, driven by purpose.
So with the programs that we have, obviously being in Wylie, I'm guessing that my kids, even though I'm in Levon, that it'll still be okay for them to come over and play and things like that in the league. But are all the programs just geared towards just this pool of area like Murphy and maybe Saxe and Levon and Wylie, or is it more spread out or open to anyone? I just want to kind of ask that question.
Well, for our football program, because we're tied to United Legacy or any other, they are very strict about being specifically Wylie ISD.
Mm-hmm.
For our other programs that we control, basketball, volleyball, flex, it's open. It's Ways. It's there's T. It's Saxe. It's Richardson. It's Murphy. It's Wylie. It's Levon. It's all the surrounding areas. Because I know for flex, we have teams that come from, Farmersville and everywhere else to play against us. It's our league. So that's our intent behind it, to grow it large enough that the kids that are underserved, Murphy, Saxe, Richardson, Levon, have an option. And we plan to be that option.
Yeah. Terrell, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Good. You missed in front of the good stuff, man. But just so
I had some other stuff, good stuff going on, man. It was one of my kids. He was really doing some positive things, and I'll be able to release it probably on Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of, since Terrell's jumped in here, I'll kind of go past where I want to go, then kind of double back. So programs like Grindhouse, with working with you guys, with that type of relationship, what does it do to kind of enhance what's going on with your programs, with knowing that you have people who are outside getting proper training, proper nutrition, things like that? How does it help Ways?
Well, on that end, it helps us immensely, because with our partnership with Grindhouse, we have kids that, as they sign up for programs, get into conditioning. Well, conditioning in any sport does help reduce injuries. It improves the health of the child, the mental state of the child. So there's all of these improvements that come from that partnership right there. It also makes a better athlete on the field, because now they're not struggling to try and figure it out. They've got more of it figured out, and they're able to actually help each other. It helps build the team through that maturing stage that we get from that. And so personally, I think it's been an incredible relationship. I'm excited for where the future is going to take it, because I believe eventually 80 to 90% of our kids will be tied into Grindhouse for conditioning.
Callie, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that was perfectly said. I mean, our athletes have come away 3 times now from training days with you guys, and it has just been incredible watching them, talk to each other about it at practices and show the other kids, hey, you missed it. Where were you? Look what we were doing. And so just watching the way that it's changed the kids and their mindset already just after one day, I'm really excited to see, what comes with a longer mentorship program.
All right. So, Terrell, you got anything you want to add to the partnership and things that
Yeah, I'm so excited. From day one when we first started the project, I was like, the partnership. I mean, it was like, was what I always wanted to do. I was hoping that everything went well, and I want to say me and Chris, we met one day at the office, and it was like we've been knowing each other for a long time, man. And you don't, and when it's a line, it's a line. You know what I mean? So when we met, it was like, okay, this is different, man of God, want to make a big impact in the community. And that's something that I always talk about, want to make a big impact in the community. And we were able to to collaborate and talk and just kind of just build a real genuine relationship. And the kids in the community, I know what I want to do. He knew what he wanted to do. And it was like, it was all aligned, man. It's like it was meant. So I'm just grateful for the partnership. I'm grateful for just the introduction of Callie and her husband, Michael, and for, me and Chris just to build our relationship. So I'm just happy for that, man. Totally.
Chris, this portion might not be for you. So, I mean, I'll let you kind of sign in on it if you want to. We're going to talk about funding. So obviously, being a volunteer league, nonprofit league, money has to come from somewhere for things like that. So when you look at your budget when it comes to this, so what percentage of the organization is kind of carried by just like registration, or is it just sponsorships or donations or just like special projects or things like that, or even help from people like Ryan House and things like that when it comes to kind of helping with that funding? So just talk about that just a little bit there.
So that's funny you mentioned all of that. The answer is yes. So as we are redoing the league out here into the community, one of the big things has been bringing on sponsorships, leaning out to the businesses, donations, fundraisers, because right now the predominance is it's funded by the registration fees. That pays our expenses, our if we need materials, whatever it is, it's predominant on them. And so by like this year, we've already brought in 6 new sponsors. We've had sponsors donate scoreboards for Flex. We've had sponsors give cash. We've had sponsors. We've got anonymous sponsors now this year, which has been great. And so we're reaching into the community to try and bring in as much as we can, because once we have an established external pipeline of income, we can actually start reducing our registration costs. When we know that we've got an offset, like this year, I think football was $300 a kid, and that's without pads, without helmets, shoes, But at $300, if I know that I've got $20,000-$30,000 of donations, suddenly I can take out 2/3 of the cost of uniforms, and I've now shifted registration cost almost half. And that is the goal.
Callie, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that was really the biggest thing is we're so thankful that, seeing our community come together. We've got other small businesses that are able to jump in and help out. And so they're helping us, but we're also helping them as well. And so just really keeping that as a tighter community has been what these sponsorships have really meant.
And Terrell, for you, I'm gonna ask you a question in here. So obviously, partnering with actually, you know what? I'm not gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna ask them this question, and then you can kind of jump in. Partnerships, sponsorships, sometimes they do create influence outside of what the program is, though, because obviously I heard Chris earlier, I think before you got back on, Callie, that there changes need to be made when you guys took over. And there are probably some influence there with people with the amount of money they're paid and things like that, where it was influencing negatively. So what's some guardrails where you keep money from shaping who gets opportunities or what culture or what the culture becomes?
That's a great question. I think the biggest thing for us is we try to be all inclusive up front about, hey, this is what it's going to cost for the whole season, right? Some seasons parents are surprised halfway through with more expenses that they weren't aware of. And so now you have parents who are embarrassed because maybe they can't afford it. Maybe life hits and someone who before was able to, provide with no problem, maybe this season they're not. And so we never want finances to be a reason as to why the kids are not able to participate. And so we actually one of our partnerships is with the Huddle Project, and they provide those scholarships that takes that out. So our kids they never have to be embarrassed If parents don't want to, explain their financial situation to us, if they have a letter from a coach that says, hey, this is a great kid, we'll take them. We'll sponsor them. We don't need to see your finances. You don't have to prove a need to us. We just want to make sure that everybody's able to play without that judgment.
Yeah. And I guess as a parent, and obviously we're all parents here, Chris, of course you're a parent here too. But when as a parent, like when you see that, because again, most parents they're not going to be open about their situation with that. So how do you find that when it comes to, or how do you, excuse me, not find that? How do you kind of ask those questions to make sure that they're comfortable or get their kid to play without prying and things like that? How do you get that parent to open up and say, hey, I need help when it comes to this? Because that's a hard conversation to have too.
Yeah. I think for us, so as a league, we advertise it. In the very beginning, we let everyone know, hey, this is the cost. This is going to be the cost for the whole season. This is what else you'll need for that season. And also, we have options for payment plans. We have options for scholarships. Click this button to learn more. We always want to put that out so parents can do the investigations on their own on the back end. But if it's something that we notice, maybe a friend comes to us, or maybe they've reached out to a coach. We've got some kids from the last basketball season that we had that the parents told the coach, I wish we could play with you again, but we just can't this season for whatever reason. And the coach knew what we were offering, and so the coach came to us. And so instead of going to the parents and saying, hey, we heard, you're having a rough time, we don't want to embarrass them. So we told the coach, write us a letter and tell us, about this kid, and we will give you a scholarship based on the merit of the kid. And so we don't necessarily have to put it out that it's financial assistance, right? These are scholarships. These aren't necessarily sponsorships.
Terrell, did you? I think
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I was letting.
I mean, even with that, we do the same thing with Grindhouse Sports. We have Grindhouse Give, so that parents can, who can't afford it, get an opportunity to look at the Grindhouse Give page on our website. And we try our best. We try our best to make sure that the parents that are looking for training get an opportunity to train, because it's not about, we got overhead. So we want to make sure that we can take care of our overhead. But the goal is to allow these young athletes and get them an opportunity to participate and be the best athlete that they can be, but also get an opportunity to play the sport that they love playing and merge those together. And next, we may have the next superstar coming out of our community. And that's what we're looking for. That's when we decided to partner up and become, a one, because that's what it is, Ways and Grindhouse Sports. Our goal was the kid. Like our number one priority is the kid and the growth of the kid, and try to be there to be a bigger mentor, influencer on the kid and guiding the kid in the athlete in the correct direction. So that's what we're all about, man. And I'm just grateful that, when I extended the conversation and we were able to meet. I think I reached out to you first, Callie, right? Yeah, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, she's like, yeah, you need to talk to my dad. So I was really thrilled. I was really thrilled about that. And I'm like, okay, well, if we're all aligned, it's all gonna come together. It was no worries on my end. So if it's the kid, that's my main focus with the kid. So, and when I heard him talk for the first time, I'm like, yeah, we got this. We gonna run with this in our community. So it's a great experience, and just with them having the scholarships, but also having the basketball, the basketball. I think they got volleyball coming. We got football. We got flex football. We got drill team.
Yeah, you missed all that conversation, man. We already said all that.
So we got so much. We got so much for the kid in the community. So it's like you cannot want to do any of these things. So it's like if you want to do it, you got an opportunity to do it. So I'm just grateful to be a part of all of it.
He said a word earlier. Again, I think I told you guys. Like I said, we both have had kids who have played in Wylie and went on to play college football, and who are products of Wylie, that they're proud of that. And he brought up superstars, and there's something I want to ask you guys about. So the Victor Young Memorial fundraiser that you guys had. Obviously, is a powerful example of the league coming, just community support. Just especially during the tough time. So, how do you decide when an organization should step into a family specific hardship? In fundraising for that family.
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. This was not something that we as a league looked looked for. This was actually brought to us by another member of our community, Angel Meek with ACM Photography, and she has been our league photographer for 3-ish seasons now. And so she came to us with the idea because that is, it was a member of their group, and so we thought that it was a great idea. Anything that we can do to rally our community together, we're going to help do. And there's a lot of things that we may not have the funds for, but we do have some assets that we can assist with, like marketing, and we have fields, so why not use the fields? We are happy to rally together and find a way to make this work for the community.
I told you guys, I try to do 30 minutes, and you see what happens when I say that here. So I got a few more questions here. Then then we'll try to wrap up here. For kids who aren't, and Terrell, you can this go for you too. So for kids who aren't obvious stars, we'll call that what that is. I'm on the team. I want to play. I plan to play hard. I'm just here to have fun. For kids who are that, or late bloomers, or anxious kids, or we have kids who have autism who want to play. We have kids who are in every facet of life who just want to have fun, and this may be the only time they get a chance to play team sports. So the kids whose parents are new to organize sports, how do you help those parents, and how do you help those kids when it comes to whatever element they may, I shouldn't call it element, so excuse me, but whatever may be affecting them that makes them anxious about playing organized sports?
I hate to keep jumping in with all the answers here, but I hope you don't
I
mind if I
told Chris
take
this portion wasn't for him.
Well, this one is really near and dear to my heart, especially. One of my boys is autistic, and he is not as superstar as the other two are, but he still wants the chance to be involved. And we very quickly learned that organized sports is not his thing, but he loved the opportunity while we were there to find the things that he did like about it. He liked wearing the uniform. He liked running. He did not want anything to do with the ball. He didn't want anything to do, with being out and running in the heat. But he did like cheering on his teammates. He liked being a part of something. And I think the most important part for us, not just as a board, but as the coaches, as parents of everybody. I mean, I'm team mom for almost every sport that we do, because I want to be able to see what each kid needs and help them so that they can be their best. And so my son was not going to be a quarterback, but you know what he could be? A great cheerleader on the side. He was really fast, so he would help the boys when they would run and race. And it's all about finding where the kid is finding the joy, and I think just not punishing them for not being good. I think some coaches get so wrapped up in we got to win that they forget to make it fun.
Drew, anything you want to add to that? Because again,
especially
with training.
I am so grateful that you said that, because that's one of my reasons for getting out of coaching, is because I love all the kids genuinely, and you want everybody to be successful, but everybody is successful in their own way, and a kid shouldn't get punished for the things that they do or what they cannot do. One of the reasons why I got into training is because of that reason too, because the kids that didn't have the opportunity to play, I wanted to give them a outlet to be able to work on those skill sets and how to develop them and get them in the area where now I feel confident, I feel comfortable. I got somebody that believe in me. And when I start training back in a long time ago, I ain't gonna say what year, but a long time ago, it made my heart smile. It made me feel good about what I was doing, because it was a positive thing. we knew a lot of these kids can't go to college, but then all of a sudden they all start getting scholarships and they all start getting offers. And it was like, to see it happen, it was like, man, who have known that, by me just loving what I do and helping the kid out and just guiding them in the right direction and being a good mentor to them, that they will get the same opportunity that a skilled kid that really don't practice, that really don't really like to train, to do bare minimum, still get a chance to go out and play college ball. So that was one of the things, the reason why I got into this. And I'm grateful that I did, because not only did I get to train and do this for a living, but I get to meet great people as well on the way. So I'm just, like I said, I'm always grateful for the things I'm able to do. And I mean, this is my job. This is my full-time job, training kids. And to see the amount of kids that's coming out of the program these last 4 years, I think we're like about 56 kids that's going off to college, man. That's definitely a blessing.
Chris, someone comes to you and they say, Ways doesn't feel like a program that's built for us or my family. What would you want to hear from them before you answer that question?
I'd want to know the why it doesn't feel like a family, what they were missing, or what maybe single individual. I mean, I want to know the information behind the statement. The statements come and go. I need the evidence so that I can understand, is there potentially something we can do to fix it?
I'm gonna end it off here. So I over prepare, guys. I'm gonna tell you about this. Typically, and Terrell will tell you this when we do a podcast. I don't I'm not even halfway through what the stuff that I typically go through. I believe in over preparing.
So we can do a part two.
Yeah, we can go back.
We can do a part two.
But I do want to ask this question. 3 years from now, what do you want the people in Wylie to say Ways does better than anyone else?
In 3 years, I personally would love to see the Wylie community say Ways brings the community together better than anybody else. Because that's what this is about. If we've got the community, we've got the kids, and now we can direct what the community wants. Mm-hmm. How many parents want better fields, better facilities, and we can't get them in the current situation? But when everybody's unified, we can get it.
Yes. Yes.
Callie?
Yeah, I agree 1,000% with that. I think I'll share probably the most amazing compliment I've received so far. So I've been with this league for about 5 years now. And the best compliment we ever got was right after we were doing we did a homecoming pep rally event. And we do it big. We do big homecoming thing. Everybody gets garters and mums and, present all the teams. And we just do a really big pep rally. And at the end of it, we reached out for parent feedback. And one of the parents, their response back was, my older two sons played when Wylie was big enough that it was Wylie against Wylie. And you drove to Founders Park and all you see all over the place was just teams and teams and teams. And you saw the heart of our community. And they said, I haven't felt that in a while. They said, everybody takes their kids and they're going to Allen or they're going to Plano or they're going to Dallas and they're taking their kids out of our community. And they said, being at this pep rally, it brought back the days where it's the Wylie way, and that just really tugged at my heart because that's what we want. We want to have a town where our kids can be proud of, like, I grew up in Wylie. I played sports for Wylie. I graduated high school from Wylie. And it's just getting back to that, like, hometown pride.
I'm going to end it there. I obviously had a whole lot more to say. We're gonna do it. We'll come back to that. I think we'll wait until the fall. Well, I want to see how the fall went for you guys, and we'll do a part 2 there. Terrell, anything you want to add before we sign off?
Oh yeah, man. I want to add a few things. I want to just say Chris and Callie, I want to say I appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you guys are doing in the community. I love the fact that you guys are grounded in the community. I see you guys at, I think, all 3 training days we didn't have. I am definitely grateful for that. And I promise, like, we're gonna really do some bigger things right now. I got a lot of ideas in my mind, in my head that's popping up, like what I would like to do. And found that I would love to do a combine for the kids, get times and do a lot of evaluations of the athletes and just free stuff that like the Vic 707 tournament is coming up on Sunday. I'm going to get a booth. I'm going to be set up out there. I'm going to give away some free gifts. So some free training sessions and things like that. So it's already in the making. I've started it. I think I started it on Monday or so. So I'm definitely ready for that. But I just want to say thank you guys for what you're doing. You guys mean the world to me. What you guys are doing in the community. I know the community really love that and they're going to support it. It's going to get bigger. We just got to get more people out and knowing about what we're doing. And I know for sure it's going to grow. Thank you guys. And let's continue to rock this thing.
All right.
Hey, Anthony, can I put a shameless plug in real quick?
I was getting ready to ask you what you guys got coming up. I wanted to go ahead and do all the social media stuff. I will have you do all that, but go ahead.
So we are working on doing a 20th anniversary former Wylie Football League, but Wylie Area Youth Sports Community Day. So we're working on putting that together, celebrating 20 years in Wylie. And so we're pretty excited about that. We are plugged in, like you said, social media wise. We are sharing on Wylie and Saxe, Lavon, just all over the area because this community, these kids need this. So that was a plug. Looking forward to this 20th anniversary deal. Callie?
I have 2 real quick things. So we're actually getting ready to wrap up our spring flex season. So Friday, May 15th is our last flex game of the season. And so we are doing our all-day tournament Saturday the 16th. And then also the following weekend, we are partnering with athletes and coaches from Wylie East and Wylie High. And we are putting on a free football camp for everybody, not just Ways athletes. You don't have to be Wylie ISD to attend. It is completely free. We just do need parents to register so that, we keep track of everybody. But that's going to be Saturday, May 23rd at Founders Park.
And then I'll keep you guys here in a second. For everybody that's listening, we're going to sign off. I'm going to continue my conversation offline. So, all right. Everybody take care.